The lesson is that change, while scary and stressful, can carry the seeds of growth and good fortune. This is as true in business as it is on the battlefield. We must remain true to our purpose, but accept that change will happen and adjust our plans, behavior, and business tactics so that we may not lose sight of our underlying purpose. Embrace change and you may find fortune where you thought there was only misery. Hi, this is Sandra, walking in purpose, wishing you tremendous wealth and a healthy lifestyle. Today I'm going to be reviewing Rabbi David Lapin's book, Business Secrets from the Bible. So grab your pen and pad and note down these 13 key learning points. Key learning point number 1. Rabbi Lapin says that we must specialize in something. Everybody's got a gift that God has given them. So if you bake cakes, for example, and you bake fantastic cakes and other people enjoy them, why not focus on that particular specialism and sell your cakes to other people? And that will be your area of specialism, and you will definitely prosper if you specialize in that particular area. So if you're good at something and you're fantastic and you're thinking, you know what, this is my area, this is my gift, then specialize in it. Key learning point number 2, you cannot do it all. One of the things that Rabbi Lapin stresses is the fact that you may have to hire another specialist to do something else in order for you to focus on your goals, to focus on your work. Let me give you an example. Say you come home from a 9 to 5 and then you start cleaning the house and you start thinking about, okay, I'm gonna have to do the gardening as well, and then you start doing the gardening and then you cook the dinner. You'll be exhausted by the end of it. So what Rabbi Lapin says is that you may have to hire someone else to may perhaps do the gardening for you while you rest, so that you are sharp enough to get up in the morning and go back to work and do the job that you are specialist in. So remember, you cannot do it all, and if you can hire someone else to take over other areas of your life to make them better, then that's fantastic. And that is how the economy works. We serve each other and we hire each other in. Key learning point number 3. Now, Rabbi Lapin states that retirement is a no for him. So what he's saying is that there's no such word in the Hebrew translation for retirement. There's no such word, and if there's no such word as retirement, that means it does not exist. In the book, he also points out that retirement can isolate you because we are born to serve God's other children. So if you're thinking about retiring, I'm sorry, Rabbi Lapin says it's a no. Right, key learning point number 4. Right, Rabbi Lapin stresses the fact that we need to network with other people. We need to interact and network with other people in order to build wealth. And you must learn to network and form relationships with other people that have the same focus and the same. And also he stresses to be careful who you interact with, because sometimes you may interact with the wrong people, and the wrong people might not lead you to where you want to go or who you want to become. So also be careful who you interact with. And he emphasizes the fact that it's great that people meet each other in churches and synagogues, etc. So networking is important and it will help you grow in wealth. Key learning point number 5. One of the things that he stresses in the book is that you must have been in partnership with someone for you to be successful in something that you've done. So what he's pointing out is that there's everything that you do and you have become successful in, You have not done it alone. You must have done it with someone, or someone must have helped you. And I really, really agree with this point, because when I think about all the successes I've had and all the achievements and all the awards that I have achieved, I had someone either pushing me or someone actually egging me on and saying, come on, Sandra, you can do it. All right.
Key learning point number
Rabbi
6.
Lapin says that money is like blood. We need blood to move through our entire body. And he basically is saying that we need money to flow through the economic system. And without it, we don't function properly. So what he's saying is that when you require a blood transfusion, you don't really care where you're getting the blood transfusion from, as long as you get the blood transfusion so that you can operate. So when it comes to money, it flows in the economic system and we need it. So it doesn't matter where you're getting it from, you need it. And I just find this very fascinating, but I love his comparison. It's tremendous. It's key learning point number 7. Rabbi Lapin, in his book, Business Secrets from the Bible, he states that genuinely wealthy people are good people. Not. What he's saying is they have learned to serve God's children on a bigger scale. The biggest past example I can think of is Mark Zuckerberg on Facebook. He's actually learned to serve God's children on a bigger scale. So he says that wealthy people are genuinely good people. And if you will get people who are bad, wealthy people, but that's probably, they were bad anyway. So if someone was bad when they were poor, they'll probably be bad when they're rich anyway. It doesn't matter. What you need to know is that wealthy people are generally good people who have learned to serve God's other children on a bigger scale, and that has built their wealth. Key learning point number 8, Rabbi Lapin stresses the fact that we must work in order to serve God's other children. And if we're not working, then what are we doing? He stresses the fact that we must work in order to serve God's other children. And he stresses the fact that isolation is not a good thing. So work is good, isolation is bad. Key learning point number 9, Rabbi Lapin stresses the fact that we must not live beyond our means. So do not live beyond your means. But then he insists that we must give beyond our means. So do not live beyond your means, but give beyond your means. He also insists that we must learn about this thing called money. We must learn about this thing called money, because if we learn about this thing called money, then we can earn money. So the more you know about money, the more you're going to earn more money. But definitely live within your means. Key learning point number 10, give to charity because you can. He says, give to charity because you can. And he says, do not give because you assume that somebody is poor. What he says is that being poor is a relative term, because no one is actually really poor. Give because you believe that person needs that help and that support at that particular time. He also stresses that do not give to expect anything in return. However, he does stress the fact that those who do give tend to get a lot more in return. So give because you can, but do not give assuming that you're giving to someone because they're poor, because being poor is a relative term. Key learning point number 11. One of the things that Rabbi Lapin stresses in the Business Secrets from the Bible is the fact that we have one of the biggest earning organs on our bodies. And he says one of the best earning organs is our mouth. If we learn to use our mouth properly and speak clearly and precisely, we can earn lots of money. So he gives examples, and he also gives you what you can do. One of the things he says that you can do is actually read a book out loud for half an hour 3 times a week. So read a book out loud for half an hour 3 times a week, and make sure it's a good book. That way you can practice how to speak and be able to speak in public properly, and that can earn you lots of money. You can become a public speaker and you can earn like $5,000 an hour speaking about a subject that you're most passionate about. You can join groups such as the Toastmasters and learn how to use your mouth. So one of your biggest earning organs is your mouth, and if you learn to use it properly, you can make the money. Key learning point number 12, Rabbi Lapin stresses the fact that we are not animals, so we must keep our respect and integrity at all times. We are not animals, so we must keep our respect and integrity at all times, and also respect other people, other God's children. The book, The Business Secrets from the Bible, Rabbi Lapin does use a lot of biblical terms. However, even if you're not religious and you're not Christian, you can still grab the book and read it. It does help you in your everyday life, so you don't have to be a Christian in order to appreciate what he's written. Hi, this is Sandra again, wishing you tremendous wealth and a healthy lifestyle. If you liked my book review, give it a thumbs up. And if you want more book reviews, subscribe to my channel and you will get more book reviews to share with other people, so that they will get the information and knowledge that they need. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.